during the summer. Every
Can-
just.
Can you hear me,
Saturday.
Kate?
Ma'am.
Thank you.
My mic is on.
Saw that. But yeah, there's somebody that throws, I don't know what night it is, they throw a beer can out, there's always one single beer can. Just one of the big tall boys,
Really?
every Saturday. Pick it up.
Well, when there's one blue light, usually there's 5 more.
Trying to make it in the back of your truck is exactly right.
That's the other side of the road.
20 seconds. Good evening. I would like to call tonight's candidates town board meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Vastola,
Present.
Councilman Stat,
Here.
Councilman Gronwell,
Here.
Councilwoman Crowley,
Present.
Councilman Mitchell.
Here.
And tonight's salute to the flag led by Deputy Mark Stat.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America.
To
To the
republic
republic
for
which
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty,
liberty,
justice
and justice
for all.
for all.
Thank you. Oh, I don't have my glasses. I will do the best I can. Approval for the January minutes.
So I've got a question for Eileen. As I reviewed the board meeting minutes from last month, I did not see where we included the discussion about Ross Road or the resolution. Did we get that to you?
What do you mean the discussion?
We had a discussion. It was like a late add to the meeting. And we had documentation from the CEO's office. And then we did a resolution.
If there was a resolution, I would have included it. It depends on the discussion, because discussion doesn't have to be included, just everything
Okay.
that's voted on. So
Okay,
what's the resolution?
to set up a public hearing, I believe. Hang on a second. The resolution was.
That was done.
Okay,
I don't know, I'd have to look.
okay. Can you do that?
I would just add it in, but because that,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
I
fine.
would just add it in. Yep.
That's fine. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Because I think I got that late. The legal notice went out right away.
excellent. Okay, and then other than that, I would approve the meeting minutes as written.
The only thing I have is on the second privilege of the floor, it says the cell tower issue. It's the 911 communication tower issue, not cell
Okay.
towers.
Okay. Can't we make them all one tower?
We can just say tower issues, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for the update.
Absolutely.
We like those extra eyes. Thank you. Any other discussion on the minutes? Motion to approve putting in those corrections.
Approved.
Those in favor? Aye. Okay, that carries. Thank you. I'd like to open up 2 public hearings. The first one is for Rob Smith, 7030 Ross Road, order to remedy the request of the candidate CEO. Opening that public hearing, public comment this time.
Can I say something?
Of course.
All right. This is my brother and what I don't understand. Has any engineer gone into his building and deemed it unsafe and unfixable?
That's what I had here. I've had, this is my little problem here. is that garage, I brought you pictures of it from 6 months ago when this started and pictures of it today. And it's still not falling down. It was never going to fall down. The left front corner. Some water ran down, filled the footer and rotted out 4 2x4s and the 4x4s that hold the corner up. I started fixing it. I had a complaint from a neighbor that has complained about me for the last 7 years. We've had the cops up there and everything, but, Joe came and looked at it. The first time he came and looked, he didn't see, we didn't have it dug out that the footer was still there. And he didn't really understand. He even said that in court, he was kind of new to it and wasn't really sure that it can be repaired. I had, licensed barn builder, worked 20 years for George Ward down there, built all his barns. George died, he went on his own. He came and gave me an estimate on his way home from work one day. He couldn't do letter heading envelope, you know, because he didn't have one with him. He wrote it on a piece of his notebook, yellow notebook paper, put all his information on it. Joe told me if I got that, he would let me know about the building permit, if it said it could be fixed and all this, that we would go from there. I gave him that. I didn't hear from him for 3 weeks, so I started working on it. Find out my complainant called and said he's working on the barn without a permit. I didn't know I had to have a permit to work on my own stuff. So then they came and put a stop work order on it. Right now, I've had 2 or 3 more people look at it, but that bill that my friend wrote up, the contractor, he threw away because he said it wasn't professional enough. So he threw it out. What is that? And nobody, no engineer, no civil worker has ever come and said it's gonna fall down. Larry and I have been building all our lives. That building is not gonna fall down. I can't fix it because he put a stop work order on it. I'd had it done 3 months ago. But I've got it jacked up. I got the pictures of it. You wanna see it? And then they say the rubbish around the house.
And what was that? I'm sorry?
Rubbish around the house, but this is the garage, July 1st, last summer. This is the garage Friday. Does it look like it's falling down? This is the back wall. It shows you it's straight. The garage door still works. Over here, this corner is where it rotted. I have now got the siding off and those 2x4s out showing. I've got it jacked up inside with 3 house jacks. And it's not going anywhere. I got metal poles to put in there, the metal house pole jacks.
I'm gonna just take a peek at it,
And
so you see it.
the other one's my front yard to show that it's not like. I don't know where to go, but
Joe, I'd like you to take a peek at that too. After Rick does.
I'm saying it can be fixed.
And when did you take that picture?
The winter one I took Friday. The other one I have on my phone is dated when my sister made these on her, she's the town historian in Honeoye. She made them on her computer and it didn't show the date. But the one of the summer was June 1st. One of the trailer was July 1st. And then the other pictures were just last Friday. The garage hasn't moved because I got the jacks under it. It's a dirt floor with a footer all the way around. There's no holes in the roof. There's those 4 rotted 2x4s and the 2 2x4s that hold the corner up. And they can all be replaced and put back in the original footer. And if I get to do that, I'm gonna take a ditch and put drainage so it doesn't do it again. And with 3 metal poles in there, it's not going to be able to do it again.
You say that this picture fully typifies what's going on there, Joe?
Please see them stuff.
No, I mean, these are pictures of the barn and the trailer, but they're not what I was looking at. The pictures that I show,
You want these?
the ones that you guys have in front of you more. I think Rob has.
Bill, how long's those pictures been going in? Are there other pictures that we're supposed to have?
Yeah, they're.
From the last meeting.
active.
Their last meeting, yeah.
These pictures are stuff that's been in the
Last
yard.
last one's page.
Well, there's also barn pictures. backside of the barn where there's a hole in the roof. I think you see.
There's no hold.
Oh, yes, there is.
Well, there was before, we started working.
Last year when maybe they would still go, maybe, but.
Yeah.
So this blue barn and the brown barn are the same barns?
No, the brown is my house. These pictures here are where I cut the wall out. Because you couldn't see it until you took the siding off, and you can see that everything rotted out. And that's why I just didn't want to. There is a board missing on the back, so.
This
Like I
is
say-
the next month's packet.
Yeah, this is where I cut the wall out, so you can see well rotted. And that's all it is, it's just on that corner, and there's no way it can fall.
Okay.
And the footer's there. And no one. Other than the neighbor complaining, and if he went in to look at it, he was trespassing.
I didn't step on the property, sir.
I'm just saying, if you got close enough,
I have a good camera. You're gonna accuse me,
I'm not accusing you of anything, other than you complained that you're trying to take my house for taxes, you told me that for 7 years. But I never stayed.
7 years, sir.
6. 7 this year.
Well, can I interject to the town board?
You may.
I've been there for 50 some odd years. We've had complaints before he even came up there about the garage. It was supposed to be torn down. It never got tore down because they felt bad for Jackie. And I think our town attorney was involved in this. And the mess is still there. The garbage all around the house. There has not been 17 dumpsters up there.
I didn't say 17.
Yes,
sir.
you did when you were at court.
I did not, I said, I've taken 17 trips in my pickup and I've had 3 40-yard dumpsters I've taken off that property. It was empty for 7 years before I bought it. I bought the place, and I don't even really own it yet, so if we get down right to it, it's not even my problem, it's. I still got like 4
Well, good,
payments
if you
to
don't
go.
own it, then maybe the town should take and go against Jackie and the people that do own it.
Okay, Jackie's done, or dead, or something owns it, and I'm still paying them, I got 4 or 5 payments to go.
Did it ever get released, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing in Ontario County about it. So it hasn't been released. And like I said, Bob Best was in the highway or the building inspector. And he had him tear down the one building, the trailer and everything, that's still out there.
No,
That is still there, I can show you the pictures.
There's the yellow trailer that I got a permit from him for to use as a storage. The other 3 trailers that were there over the last 4 years, I have taken every one of them out. All of them had decks. I do still have wood laying in my backyard that can be burned, and I've had the fire marshal up when I've had a couple fires. Someone calls and the fire marshal got mad and said, I should have a restraining order on this guy. And I said, I don't want to be a bad neighbor. I have lumber out back from those decks I took down from those trailers. The
Excuse
one
me.
that's there, I have a permit
The
for.
trailer that got condemned was all left in a pile out there.
I know, I
took them
cleaned it
out.
up after I
Excuse
bought
me,
it.
please. I took pictures of all the wood that's out back there, the couches that are out back there. Joe's been up there, Rich has been up there, and nobody has stepped on my property. My property goes right along with it, and the garbage is coming over with it.
There's the one, there is a lounge chair out there, because we have it by the fire.
There's more than a lounge chair.
There's no couches out there or anything, go look. Bring them on, come up and look. And behind the garage, it's all kids' toys, play toys that somebody left there, the play school toys, the rocking horses and everything.
That's the plastic that he was burning that the DEC went to go up and give him a ticket, and he took off because I went down and asked him to put out the fire because we couldn't even breathe the air up at our house.
The fire marshal and sheriff, 2 sheriff deputies came up, said I was doing fine.
Not the
I didn't
time
take
that I
off,
came
was
down.
right there.
Don't lie. When I came down to you, I told you you had 10 to 15 minutes to put it out, or I was gonna call the state police.
That was the day I was burning leaves in my driveway. If you got any.
You know what?
remember
The
it.
DEC found plastic.
All right, if I may,
Yes, thank you.
Please.
Yeah, please.
so it was my understanding, Rob, because this matters in court. That you were going to agree to the town taking the building down.
Well, until I got
didn't
this
realize-
idea that when I got a letter that said I could come and at least state my case, if that's what it takes.
Wait, but you stated your case with the judge.
That if that's what it takes, I told him if I could fix it, you even said I could probably actually fix it once when you looked at it.
We're
But then
going,
you threw my estimate out from the builder.
we're going this route because you didn't have the capital to do so.
I don't have the money to take it down, I can fix it, I don't see why it should fall. I've been a resident of Canada for 42 years.
And you were supposed to get an estimate from Roy White and. the judge-
Roy White, I
the
told him
judge-
in court, Roy didn't wanna do it, that I couldn't afford him. And there was a friend of mine saying that I couldn't afford him.
Right, so that was the point of bringing it to the board, so the town could do this, and now you're gonna fight the town?
Well, I'm just saying that nobody, other than you, and I don't know, but I built more barns than you have, knows that this can't be fixed. And you actually told me once, yes, you could probably fix this.
Anything can be
Brings me back
fixed,
to My original
Then
question.
no engineer or anybody has come
Decided-
and said it's gonna fall down.
anything can be fixed with the right amount of money here.
That's right,
That's what
and
we're
or
running
time and
into.
labor.
Right.
So
So,
just let me fix the garage, that's all I want.
Sheila?
Yeah, so the problem is, that, as you know, the town brought criminal charges. And we agreed because of all the representations that Mr. Smith made in court, which very different from what he's saying here today.
No, the judge
No, no,
never let
me
me
talk,
talk.
and then you can have a turn. So his attorney represented and Mr. Smith at court that he didn't have the money to fix it. He wanted us to go this way, so it would be fixed. I said, we were kind enough to say, we won't pursue the criminal charge, which I have to say, the fines are very hefty for this. So now it sounds like we're gonna have to go
Excuse me, when you say we, who is we?
to town.
The town.
So it really doesn't matter which way we go, but we've been bending over backwards to kind of help him out. And now he comes in and says he's not gonna fix it. He has time to fix it. If the board tonight finds that he needs to fix it, he has 30 days from when the order was served to start, and then he has another 60 days to complete it. You know,
Yeah.
that's fine, do it.
That is fine, I agree with that, and that's on this paper. I never said I couldn't fix it, I said I couldn't afford to have it tore down. I talked to Roger Belcher, or Ricky Belcher, and Craig Dees down here. Praise the Lord, Craig's wife died the day before yesterday.
Mhm.
But they both told me, and I can't afford to have somebody come and do that and take it down. But I can have it fixed in 60 days as soon as the frost breaks now. I mean, right now I got 2 foot of snow up because it's on top of the hill. But I've got it all jacked up and standing, it's not going anywhere.
you just told us you couldn't afford someone to fix it.
I can fix it, I got all the materials there, and I got me and a friend of mine that we're jacking it up, and it's my property. I thought I could fix stuff on my property.
You have
This is where we were months ago.
Yeah, we went every week. The judge never let me talk. Twice he pointed at me and said, "You don't talk unless I ask you."
You had an attorney and you were interrupting, but anyway, the bottom line is. We have to move forward with this and. I'm not saying that I doubt, I guess I doubt if it can be taken down or fixed by you, you could have started that months ago. So I think
I
you
did,
should-
they put a stop work order on me. I would have had it done way
Yeah, and
before.
and can Joe can tell you how the stopped work order could have been lifted,
Right, and then you have to have a building permit and insurance.
and you didn't wanna do that.
No, that wasn't it. I couldn't afford to pay $75 for the stop work order and the permit at the same time.
So what about the dumpsters? What are you gonna do?
I told the judge and he was happy with that, with me taking the stuff to the yard up in Steuben County. And I've been taking stuff out of there right up until this. I didn't bring it with me, but the judge has copies of a few of the dump tickets where I've been taking it up there. And cleaning up around there. Now there's 2 foot of snow. I can't get to a lot of that stuff, but. And this is all because, and I wanted to know too, though, wait a minute. How that rule goes with the barns falling down. Does the building inspector do it on a complaint and that's it? or on any barn that's getting ready to fall down. Because from here to my house is 6 miles. And I can go 7 going around the lake road. There are 4 barns. One's gonna fall in the road sooner or later and hit the power lines. That's been like that for 20 years. It's all boards missing and leaning. There's 3 or 4 of them around here. There's 3 houses on my road alone that look way worse than my yard. And Fred Harrington and Judy live right across the road from me. And they have seen Mr. Cooter come down and yell and scream at me from the end of the driveway. They've seen him come down and, stop and yell out the window at me. They're in Florida right now. I told them I was coming there tonight. They said if you wanted it, they would send signed depositions that they have seen him doing that to me. That doesn't, I've offered to sell it to him 2 or 3 times. He yells and screams, I'm not buying it. I'm gonna get it for taxes. You'll never last. So I can't go nowhere. I'm being persecuted. He has to come 100 yards through the woods to even look at it. You can't see it from his house. Everything is clean. I don't know where to go with it.
I'd like to re-interject.
Okay,
Mr. Harrington, come to me and said, what are we gonna do about this this mess next door? And then he come down to my house and accused me I should back off from him. And I said, if you remember right, Fred, you're the one that started this.
so no,
Don't call me a liar, sir.
I didn't. I just giggled and I'm sorry.
Well,
It doesn't matter.
I know,
Joe
it's
can,
he
if
said, she
Joe's
said.
got 5 barns he's gonna get to, that does not take this out of.
Yeah, but do you do it only on complaints or because he
You can
sees
do
they're
it either
falling
way.
down?
You can do it either way.
legally, if I can see it. And
You ain't looking.
complaints, there's 2 ways. And like, I'm only one person and I only have so much time in the day. And it just so happens you were up there on the list because there were complaints.
But it was one complaint.
If you wanna know.
I don't know.
the process, that's the process.
I'm just curious, those barns have been standing. And nobody did anything to it for the 7 years before I bought it.
Well, thank you for stating your case. So what's our next step in this process?
Your next step is that you are going to determine whether this is a valid
Order to remedy.
order, and if so, he has 30 days and then 60 days to, and that's another thing, he said to the judge, oh, we'll just, we'll let this go, we'll just want to get it done, and he wanted it to go for taxes. And
No, I
now,
didn't.
and now that I've delayed until April, we've delayed the court proceeding because of his representations. So now we're behind on that.
So what we're doing, Mr. Smith, is we kind of need the clock to start, and it's gonna start tonight if we vote for an order of remedy. So the 30 days and the 60 days starts pretty much today.
All right, but in the letter you sent me, it says also due to weather conditions. I get a little leeway because I can't go out there and do it in all this snow and everything, fix that.
Frankly, from what I've heard so far, and I know nothing about this,
Okay.
I don't think that you've earned any leeway at all. Sounds to me like you burnt your bridges time and time again from everybody that's talking here.
Can't change your opinion on what I thought, so that's what you.
So if we say you got the 30 and 60, do you have the money tomorrow to come down and get the permits and get the stop work order done?
Not both at one time. I get $1,000 a month on social security and I'm already
So
paid
then
up
this,
on
so then this can't be remedied then, because if you gotta have those 2 things in order to get it right, am I right, Sheila?
Yes, yeah.
So without those 2 things, you can't do anything anyways. Correct.
So because I'm poor, you can tear the garage out. Go ahead, tear it down.
No, but he also said this, 3 months ago, that he couldn't do it that week, but he was gonna do it the next week.
I never said I was gonna do it. I said I was gonna do it when I could.
And then
And
he
I
said he
didn't
was
work
gonna
on
get
it
the,
because of the no work order. I haven't worked on it, but
he was gonna get the,
I've been taking the rubbish off like everybody's saying. The judge saw that, he knew it.
And just for the record, this started in July of 21 when I started. So I've also
No.
given him more leeway than
That was the hole in the garage roof and that got fixed the day you gave it to me. The next one was the trailer with a permit and I bought a permit so I could use it for storage. The next one was the wood stove that was in there deemed because of the neighbor that I shouldn't have the wood stove, even though it was there when I got there. All I did was put new pipe on.
You might save your life.
Yeah, but I burned it for 5 years and it's still there. But I'm just saying, it's all been a little personal vendetta. There's nothing I can do about it, I guess.
Okay,
I would love to try to fix it in the time. But I can't.
Need a motion.
Right.
I'm still trying to get my arms around
Okay.
this a little bit,
Okay.
so. There currently is a stop work order,
Yes,
because he didn't get a permit, so there's a,
no.
he needs to
no.
get a permit.
What happened was is I deemed the structure unsafe and I gave him a list of things that he had to accomplish in order to fix it. And then he had, for every violation, you have 30 days to comply, and there's 2 violations, and for every order to remedy, you have 30 days to comply. And he had 2 of those, so we're looking at 4 months, and then I was told that he was working on it. And so I was on an inspection and drove by and saw that he was working on it, so I had to put a stop work order on it because he doesn't have a permit. Something happens, it's gonna be, bad because he didn't have a permit for him. So I put a stop work order on it, which means in order to work on it, you have to
What's the cost of this
It's-
permit?
$75 to lift the stop work order. And the permit is based on square foot, so it's 20 cents a square foot. I'm not sure exactly the square footage required.
Approximately, give me an order of
16 by 20.
Yeah, 16 by 20. So whatever that is.
64.
So it has a minimum $50, so he'd be at $64 for the building permit itself. And then he would put a cost amount, whatever it was gonna cost him to fix it. Which is gonna be under 20 grand, so it doesn't require engineer stamp prints, but he still has to follow the code. So I would have to go do inspections while he was working on
So he's gotta come up with about $140.
yeah, and then the materials, cause there's no way you're fixing that barn without purchasing material.
When you say he's got the material,
No, well,
do you in fact have the materials?
I have all the siding to reside the whole garage laying, and that's one of the things that he thought was rubbish, laying wrapped in a tarp next to it. I bought it before the pandemic. When I had money, and I'm glad I did. And I just started siding the front when
What kind of siding is it?
aluminum or vinyl. Vinyl siding. I'm gonna replace the wood that I had to cut out and then vinyl side it. And I got on the other side, I got my metal roofing that I wanna put a metal roof on. This is another thing about the permits. He told me, I didn't know that either, that I had to get a permit for the metal roof. And I said, all right, and then you have to come and inspect when I build my framing and everything. He goes, oh no, you can just put it up as long as you get the permit. That don't seem like. No. Inspector, just put it up.
No, that's not the way it works, sir.
I know, but that's the way it was explained to me. I am not doing the roof without a
No,
permit. believe me.
what I'm saying is you're making assumptions that aren't true.
No, I didn't. I asked, and
Yes,
that's
you
what he
are.
answered me.
Okay?
What am
You
I
are.
assuming that's not true, sir?
You're assuming that he's not gonna come out and look at your roof,
No,
that he doesn't really need to know your roof. There's reasons why there's permits for a roof.
no, but he told me he didn't have to come and look once I bought the permit. So I didn't assume anything. He told me
That's
that.
because he knows the conditions. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into a tit for tat. on this, but
the main reason the structure was called on to begin with is because it was leaning, the foundation. On the left side of the structure, when you're looking at it, was rotted. And the 2x4s that were holding the structure up had fallen, had broken in half, it was hanging over. And part of the reason for the rot was because the roof had 2 holes in it. Which I do have pictures of, but he was working on it without a permit and had covered them. Well, covered the biggest one. on the one side, and it has moss on the shingles, and the shingles are, the old style from seventies, they're diamond shaped. So they've been on there for a long time. Yeah.
Can I ask the town board one question? When Bob Best was building inspector, he condemned that building. They backed off from him because they felt sorry for Jackie. Nothing got fixed, nothing got cleaned up. You can ask the town attorney, she was involved with that.
And I have information on that too, which, you know, pertains a little bit to this part of it, but, he did have another structure that was taken down the exact way that we're doing this now. But the building was knocked over, and Bob Best wrote in the notes that the building was knocked over and the debris was gonna be taken care of at a later date. And that was, 15 years ago.
And it was still there when I bought it 6 years ago. All that debris was still there, and I took that all out of it, except for the wood to burn. I saved the good lumber.
So moving right along,
Yeah. Meanwhile, back in the range.
yes,
Does that answer all your questions?
so next steps. The easiest, most prudent way, in my understanding, is to do the 30-day and the 60-day. And that's what I'm making a motion for right now.
Can we do it from the first of the month? I'll buy the permits the first of the month. Can we do the 30 and 60 from there?
You
We
realize
have to start now?
what this is gonna do to you in court, right? Because the judge is gonna ask you how this went.
Hmm?
But we're gonna have minutes and he's gonna know what your plan is,
Right, that's great.
which means he can charge you criminally.
Well, no, he said he was out of it because now it went to civil, and so did the lawyer. That's why the lawyer
Right.
didn't go.
No,
Right.
no, it's not out of it.
Okay.
We just postponed it because we thought this was gonna happen.
Yes.
And you wanted this to happen, you told us.
I didn't even know about this till I got the letter. I didn't know I could come here.
You told us in court that you wanted us to proceed with this process instead of the criminal.
Okay, so sir, I have a motion at this time, so I'm looking for a second, and then we'll have some discussion and then we'll vote on it, so we're gonna do.
So my question is the criminal charges, if the Smiths move forward with repair of that building. They're still going to have to return to court.
Oh, yeah, it's nothing's
Regarding-
been taken off the table. We just delayed it to give him the chance us to go through this process.
Do you understand that?
I believe so now. I didn't when we left court the last time, neither did my lawyer. That's why he's not here.
Okay, and my question is, does that influence your decision and what you would like?
No, I would love to fix it, but
Okay,
we have to have the opportunity to do it. And if I don't, you're still gonna take it down.
right.
So it's the process, he gets 30 plus 60 days.
He gets 30 days from the 1st of March is what he's asking for. To begin repair.
And then I have another 60.
And then 60 days, it's a 90-day window to fix the barn, period,
Completed,
complete it.
complete everything.
Joe, when was you served?
I'm not sure.
Technically, it would run from there. You can obviously extend it.
And there's ways to make money, sir, too, I'm thinking. There's ways to make money with your skills. I'm thinking there's somebody that would want to use your skills. You can make some extra money to help you fund this.
Oh, yeah, that's what I try to do all the time.
If it's not done, right, then that's when the town hires somebody to do it.
Can we move forward at the end of 90 days
Yes.
if it's not repaired?
That's why we're doing this whole process.
Can I just ask a question, please? Because my understanding, I just want to make sure this is clear. My understanding of the proceeding for the public hearing tonight is for demolition of the building, not for fixing it.
Correct.
That's what the legal notice was, and the resolution is in the minutes, Kate. It's number 11, I think. It's not for fixing the garage, so I need to know what I'm putting in here, because that's not what the public hearing is for demolition.
What's that mean? We kind of can't do.
And you're right, it is in there, Eileen. Thank you.
Joe has determined that it can't be repaired.
With the contact.
And it does say here, the securing and or removal of the building within 30 days of this notice, and there shall be completed 60 days after. If it was all deemed yours, other than the letter you sent me,
Right, so you personally have 30 days to take it down yourself.
or fix it, says.
No.
Service it or remove. On service, I would take as fixing.
It says the securing has to begin within 30 days, but you still have to fix it within 60
No.
days.
No, that's not what, that's not what this public hearing is. If they vote this resolution down, then they can dress it another way. This resolution is only for demolition, and he's got 30 days to start the process and do it himself, or he can have the town get a contractor to do it. If the board wants to go another direction, then they would not approve this resolution.
If it goes that way, can anybody tell me, like, well, say the cost is $10,000, that goes against my tax bill? And do I have like just 1 year to pay that, or do I have 2, or?
Your tax bill has to be paid a certain way no matter what we say.
Well,
So
Okay.
if it say $2,000 or whatever it is, 10,000 is re-levied onto the tax bill, you only have certain options for the tax bill. If you pay it in full in January, you're done. You can do installments, but only 2. You can do half of it in January and half of it in February or March
There's-
with
there's the
interest added on.
resolution from last month. It's
Last-
number
last-
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember any voting.
No,
So if you look at the code, it is unsafe structure, which. I'm charged with proving to you guys that it is an unsafe structure.
right.
So I think Eileen is correct.
So you guys have to decide if you're approving this resolution, and if you're not, then what direction are you going? But this resolution is just for demolition of the unsafe structure and removal and how it's handled, whether it's handled by Mr. Smith or whether it's handled by a contractor that the town hires.
So we'll rescind that order to remedy, it's a demolition.
So we would have to deny this resolution.
N-
Right.
No, you don't have to.
You don't have to. It
You
would be-
know what I'm saying, if we wanted to give them the opportunity to fix this bill, right?
Right.
We would have to not move forward with this resolution.
Correct.
We did.
Yes. How long has he had to fix this?
July, I think it was July 12th.
Yeah.
When I started of 22.
22.
And then-
Yes.
So it'll be 3 years here in 6 months.
No,
Yes.
first time I got a problem on the garage,
What he's
Well,
talking
last summer,
about is
24.
there were multiple violations.
there was little ones before I had a wood stove.
Including the garage.
Including the garage.
I never,
So the garage was in that original packet when we said he had to take out his wood stove.
Yes.
When we said he had to pick up all the crap around the house. When we told him to
Yes,
do up, that was back 2.5, almost 3 years ago.
yes,
And the
And-
garage still hasn't been fixed.
correct. And part of that is me giving him more time than
To fix it.
than the minimum that the code allows, which is 30 days in between each one.
Okay.
So I was prolonging it to give him time.
So in 2.5 years, he was unable to come up with $65 to get a permit.
I
To
never
fix
heard of the garage
garage.
problem until I came home from Florida last spring.
I'm just
And I
making
had-
sure I'm
Yeah,
understanding
but the
this
garage wasn't on,
correctly.
all that other
Yes.
stuff was all little things.
So 2.5 years to get $65 to get a permit.
Yes,
And then when that wasn't done, you said, and he's decided when heat come on to him, he decided, oh, I'll start to fix it. And you said, you gotta have a permit to fix that.
yes,
And he said, I ain't got no money.
Right.
They didn't even have money for 2.5 years.
and then it went to court, and then the court prolonged it, gave him time. to
Amazing
work
we
with
had the
them.
money to go to Florida.
That's because it's cheaper for me to live in Florida than heat that place in the winter.
How's it get to
I have
Florida?
another brother.
Walk to Florida?
Doesn't matter, doesn't
I have
matter,
my motorcycle.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
What was the court action?
The court is criminal, unsafe structure and debris. That's all, that one is also in court and we were gonna address both at once with the dumpsters, with the demo crew.
And if I've been there 5 or 6 years, how come now it's just in the last year and a half, 2 years, but everything's coming, nothing's changed?
Been almost
I don't
3
get it.
years.
Because they have given you extension after extension. That's why.
Say I've been on the board a long time and this has come up repeatedly over and
Yes.
over and over again.
And that's my suggestion is that we put it best time, so
I mean, it just seems, I mean, every couple of years this all comes up again. There's nothing been done. I mean, people go to look for you and he's in Florida. We can't talk to him right now. Go wait till he comes home from Florida. So Florida, then we have to catch up.
the judge also tasked his lawyer with looking for programs to help him out. So no success there.
So even if we do say, okay, then it's all back on the table again, right, Sheila, for him to get criminally prosecuted for this.
Correct.
And
But,
the,
but when we talked to the judge gave him the option to do this, so he didn't have to charge him because the fines are up to $1,000 a day from the original violation day.
back when Bob Best,
No. From when I,
when you did,
yes, because Bob Best was a different structure.
okay,
So, I mean, that's a heck of a lot of money, and the state with the 1203. That we adopted in 21 now makes the judges. At a certain time frame, fine them. So it's $0 to $1,000. Up to 90 days, then after 90 days, it's a minimum of $50 to $1,000. And then after 120 days, then it's $100 a day, a minimum $100 a day to $1,000.
So this is in your best interest.
I understand, but I'm still curious why he threw away the estimate that I had, that a guy would have come and done it. He threw it away because it wasn't professional enough. That wasn't very professional, throwing away an estimate.
I did not throw it away, it's in the
You
records.
told me you threw it away.
It's in the records and I did not consider it an estimate. Someone writing on a notepad. That the building can be
Who's the
fixed.
line notepad, but
It's not a professional estimate.
So we need to move along with this, so we're at the point of demolition. Need a motion.
So didn't raise the motion?
I did, I rescinded it.
Yes, because it was for the order around, the new one,
Yeah.
the emotion to
Well, it's,
demo.
that's part
It
of,
wasn't a motion relevant to this resolution or this proceeding.
there's public hearing. Sheila. Next step for the town, best interest of the town and Mr. Smith.
I mean, you have all the power in the world, you can do what you want. My problem is, we've got Joe, who is a professional, saying that this is an unsafe structure. We don't have anything on the other side. Whether it be an estimate, whether it be, I agree with Joe, I don't call just me writing on a piece of paper that it can be, done. It needs to be from someone who we know has the knowledge to determine if it's safe or not.
Mike Virgil, he told me to fix it. Why don't you just fix it? Forget all this trouble. But
I think that ship has sailed.
I know, I should have listened to him earlier.
Yeah.
But. And just to make a point, and it's probably on record in court. Joe did say once in court that first time he looked at it, he was inexperienced, was new on the job, and he didn't really think, and that's when he said that if I got that estimate, you probably could fix it. Nothing has changed other than the fact that I've jacked it up since then, and I could fix it. No
And I've been trained,
I know, I understand, but
but approved.
I know, but you did say that once, the first time you looked at it. But then I couldn't do anymore because you put the stop work order,
That's bullshit.
but that's neither here nor there, just.
Nations continue on the path that was planned yesterday.
Demolition starts in 30 days. Motion.
30 days from the day he was served or 30 days from March 1st?
Well, if you're doing demolition, then you're gonna have to get bids and have somebody come and do it, and put it on the tax. I cannot afford to take that down in 60 days, and throw it out of there.
Well, that's kind of what we need to know at this
So
point.
then it'll go from whenever you get the bid.
Okay.
That'll give me time to get the good stuff out of the garage.
We will get the bids and get back to you as soon as we can. So now you could start working on getting things cleared out of there, sir.
Are you saying going to do it sooner than the 60 days? Than the 60 days?
We gotta get the
We have to
bids.
Give them that time.
Yes,
The
yeah.
two contractors I talked to, Greg and Ricky Belcher, they both said they won't start until April or something like that anyway. For them to take it down, they said they'd take it down, they have it out in 2 or 3 days.
I preemptively messaged Ricky and a couple other contractors to get estimates with pictures.
Oh, good. Okay.
I haven't received any back.
Well, Ricky's gonna come up next week, so if they had a couple nice days, we take pictures of it and tell me what he thought.
Get the cart before the horse, don't we have to adopt the resolution?
So we'll start.
Yes.
Alls I have is a motion and I need to know from when.
So are they gonna clean up all the garbage? What's the resolution say? For one.
The town has approved demolition of the building.
And the 30 days starts when?
Is it 30 days or 60 days?
It's 30 to get started. That is supposed to start when he got served. He's saying you can't do it anyway. We might as well just use that date,
The date that he was served.
the date that he was served.
And that date was,
Joe has an affidavit he served us. I don't know the exact dates.
Right. They would be that so much. I'm regret.
Should have made copies, but I just recently had it. It was served 16.
Of-
On 16 January.
Okay,
This year.
Yes.
sure.
What is it, Joe?
January 16.
And that is the service date for the town board. That's not the service date for the ticket or for the criminal charge.
Right.
So in
I
30
was-
days from the 16th of January, what magic happens?
Nothing. He just has to have started it. If he, for example, if he said he was going to demolish it, he has to start that process.
Okay,
And then he has 60 days more to finish it, but it's sounding like he's not gonna even do that, so. We could probably move forward in 30 days if he hasn't started it.
okay.
So the town has to secure quotes that come to us.
Right,
Correct, and it's not clear in the town code. How many we're supposed to have, or even if we're supposed to put it for bid. There were 2 other examples that I looked at. One was from Bob Best, and then another one from the code enforcement before Bob. And they just sent emails to contractors in the area. One was Ricky Belcher, one was Bruce Kratzley. And another one was Greg Beats.
Mhm.
And they just, the town just picked the one that they had got. So it's up to you guys if you want me to get more than one.
Will it be less than $20,000?
I don't think he should speculate.
Okay,
let's get at least 2.
Yeah,
Let's get at least 2.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'd recommend the town get 3.
yeah,
Sure.
That's what the judge said, that they should get at least 3.
Okay.
3 bids. And then he said the town usually takes the best one or the one they think is the most reputable.
We'll look at best value as well. Okay. So from this point on, you can clear it out, correct?
I
Is
mean,
that right? Sheila, he has time to clear it out.
Sure.
Yes, I will have to come up and remove the stop work order signs. And cause the town code requires that I staple. The summons to the barn to prove that it's unsafe.
Which you did.
Right, so I'll have to take those off so he can go in and out without.
oh, right.
Or you could do that tomorrow or.
I can take it Wednesday.
So I still have a motion and I have nothing else. I have no second and I have no all in favor.
Is the motion from Rick?
No, the motion was from Christopher.
Okay,
Rick
I'll
second.
second.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that carries unanimously. And the clock started on the 16th of January and 30 days is the 15th of February.
yeah, that's Friday,
That's a real tight. That's actually a Saturday.
all right?
So the town can move forward with demolition as early as Monday next week.
Yeah, if we have the 3 bids in hand. Yeah,
Bids.
No,
If we magically had 3 bids, we could start the work.
how much material do you need to get out of there
Yeah, we
practically?
should-
How many things do you need to get out of there? Would you like to get out of there?
Well, I've got some tools bolted like grinders and things to the benches.
Couple,
I mean,
3 days worth
Yeah,
of,
I can have most of it out.
your
of
brother
there.
can help you?
No, he had a stroke over years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's there for moral support. He used to be the building inspector in Canisius.
Yeah.
It is gonna take some time to get the estimate.
But I mean, yeah, we got a month to just.
Like
before
I said,
anybody up there.
Ricky and Craig both said they wouldn't start before April anyway.
But you're fully aware of what we just did.
Yes.
That's
I know what you're doing.
Okay, I just, we want to make certain it's very transparent.
So there's no point in giving you the extra 60 days, because you're saying you're not gonna do it anyway, so we shouldn't wait that extra 60 days.
Well, I guess it depends on the contractor if he gets the bid when he can start, correct? And like I said.
I'm not talking about if the town, what the town is gonna do, I'm talking about from what we are required to do is to give you 30 days to start this process and then another 60 days to finish it. If you're telling us today, you're in court, if you're in hearing that you are not going to do anything for the next 60 days, we won't wait that time, we'll go ahead and get it out to bid.
Yeah,
I need-
that's fine.
Okay,
I understand that part because that's gonna take 2-3 weeks anyways.
Right.
That'll give me enough time to get out what I want. Build a couple sheds that I don't need a permit for, so I can put the stuff in it. Use the plywood inside.
There you are, the code, it's gonna be less than 12 by 12.
I know.
Just a shade under, very good, excellent. Okay, we have moved along, I motion to close the public hearing for Ross Road, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who made the second?
Terry.
Thank you.
Okay, opening a public hearing to update local laws, septic regulations, code update for the town of
We're
Canton.
gonna go, okay?
You can, oh, it's fine, yeah,
Thanks.
you can go.
Didn't wanna be rude to, you know.
No, you're fine, thank you, sir.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yes, sir.
You too.
And Joe, here's, just so you have it there. Your records.
You guys want a copy or need a copy of this?
I would like a copy of that. Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Before you go on and forward, thank you very much. I appreciate the town words.
Thank you for your patience. Sir. So basically, it's pretty straightforward. We did what was vetted through our planning board, and also Bob Grove certainly supports that as well, and that's pretty straightforward.
Make a motion, we accept it.
Yeah, a second.
I'll second.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, okay.
Have a good night.
Any other comments for the public hearing? We'll close that public hearing for the update for our code book. Local
And
law
who's-
number 1,
Who's motioning to close that public hearing?
I did.
Thank you. And who seconded it?
Mark?
Thank you, Mark.
Did you want to do a roll call?
Yes, please.
Okay,
For a local law, we should be doing a roll call vote, not just an all in favor.
yes. So we're doing a roll call for the local law.
I vote to accept it.
Mark votes to accept it.
Supervisor Vastola accepts it.
Jerry accepts it. Rick accepts it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now it's officially closed. Privilege of the floor. I was delighted to attend both the USDA Natural Resource Conservation Service presentations in Richmond. Kate and Terry were there for the first one. I was there for the second one. What you would want to know is that the comments and so forth that were discussed at that meeting were rolled into the second meeting. So they really did listen and they said they were going to put some things into that. It's essentially a 2-year design. Oh, geez, losing my train of thought. It's a 6-year project, 2 years study, 2 years design, 2-year
Exactly.
construction.
Exactly,
Oh, yeah,
data
yeah.
gathering. Yeah.
That's study, still gathering, and they're doing a great job reaching out to a number of entities. So Megan Webster was there, Tom Harvey from kind of planning board was there, was a number of stakeholders.
Before we move on,
Sure.
there's two things I want to emphasize about this. One, the timeline is the expectation of the status quo in terms of funding. Right now, the new administration in Washington, DC is very aggressively reducing the federal spending. So there is no guarantee that there's 6 years of funding here. Now, that's the expectation. That's the implication the presenters gave. But we all know that the federal government does annual budgets.
Yep.
So there is no guarantee. Well, that was one point. Managing expectations. Second, this was not publicly, didn't get a lot of public visibility. This is not the first time. 2 years ago, give or take, the state of New York did the same thing. Same thing. It was called Resilient New York. Did the exact same study. And they published a report and they had, I don't know, 7 or 8 recommendations. But there was no funding. And they were all mega projects, like need to expand the 20A bridge to increase the flow underneath the bridge, $1.5 million, give or take. Take wetlands in Sandy Bottom Park and turn them into sediment basins. So this is the second time. So this was done 2-3 years ago, same study. Printed a report, but all the projects were challenging to get funding and permits for, let's put it that way. So that's a second concern, is the recommendations they come up with have to be fundable and they have to be permittable. So I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying, I really am not trying. This is exciting that Richmond is getting this going, but one has to manage expectations. So that's just wanted to get my take on that out there.
Well, thank you. It's interesting you say funding because the NYSERDA and the Clean Smart and Clean Energies community, some of that funding has actually dried up and that's just state money. So we had made efforts towards a $10,000 grant and suddenly I got an email that went away.
Well, there's already efforts to.
This was before. Yes.
So
But
anyway,
recent email.
I'm not trying to be negative.
Yep.
All I'm trying to say is it's all dependent on.
Yep.
Funding.
Okay. I have another privilege of the floor. State of the town should have been done. They've had sickness and COVID and so forth, but that should be online in the next couple of weeks, 2024. And anyone else privilege of the floor? We have a second privilege of the floor later. Communications pretty straightforward. I did email the ZBA minutes. They came, but you did get those. And that's the only change from communications. Any comments? Again, the emails cover most of them. Reports, town clerk. If you're available.
Oh, yeah, sure. Paying to the supervisor for the general fund, $656.14. For water, $20,797.37. Decals, $70.86. Animal population control fund, $14 for a total disbursement of $21,500. 538.37. And I also gave the supervisor the final warrant payment of $208,574.24. So the town's warrant is paid in full. And this week I'll be sending my first check to the county treasurer. And that's it.
Make a motion to accept the town clerk report.
I'll second.
Terry motion, Kate seconded. Those in favor? All right, that carries. Thank you. We did get a historian report in your packets. We did get a CEO report. Anything to add, Joe?
No, just that I had made a couple changes that were recommended by planning board with the names for the new committee. And then we did add a couple other line items that are starred. So if you have any other questions, I guess.
What was the second thing added?
Where we used stars on the line items, if there was an explanation, and we put the explanation down.
The asterisk in the lower left.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Rich did send me a note too, just indicating it's a work in progress and keep bringing that feedback.
At what point does something happen to the violation letters? They turn into something other than a violation.
Yeah, so there's 2 violations, 2 ordered remedies, and then after the ordered remedy comes the appearance ticket. Which is the criminal route, which is always the way you go. And our town only allows for certain scenarios, which is unsafe structure and unsafe equipment. Well, actually, we don't even have the unsafe equipment one. The state allows for the unsafe equipment.
Thank you. Planning board, Ted Mayotte.
The planning board met in January 27th. I believe we have the minutes from our meeting. We had 2 site plans that were finalized, one for a property by Jerry Young on County Road 36, and another one for Finger Lakes Foundation Mower Field Station. They were both finalized and approved. The new one, a new site plan application on Sunset Drive. That was reviewed and approved with the condition to get an updated site. They were missing a few items, so we got them all taken care of. And that's pretty much all.
Oh, thank you. Any questions for Ted? Okay. Highway Superintendent Jeremy.
So since the January board meeting, as of last Wednesday, when I put this report together, 34 complete bow salt trips and 3 additional trips for drifting issues. We also, if you take in probably 4 or 5 trips since Wednesday, since I put this together. We took in 500 tons of salt and pre-treated that with the magic that we use. I also have another 300 tons on order that I ordered 2.5 weeks ago. I did receive 2 loads of that this afternoon. So yes, to answer your question from earlier, Terry, there is still a salt shortage. Luckily for us, I kind of heard the early rumblings of this and I got my 500 ton order in. And according to the outside sales representative from American Rock Salt, I was told that I am one of the lucky ones. Everybody is pretty much struggling to fill their orders, and I know Thursday last week, right before this ice storm event happened, the town of Gorham reached out to us. They only had 100 tons in their barn. So I believe the town of Naples took them 4 truckloads, so 100 tons is that's 5 truckloads of material. We don't use that much on the salt, I can't vouch for them, but for us, we're using maybe 3/4 of a loader bucket of material, which is probably 1,500 tons to 2,000 tons. So at this time, they're really, American Rock Salt has come out and said that this is 100% on them. They've last year they had 32 counties in the state of New York. This year they have 62 counties and something like 1.5 billion tons that are allocated to the 62 counties. They
So
want,
somebody go out of business or what?
No, they beat up.
no, they want
Target.
probably 80% of OGS bids this year.
They just won the bids.
Yep. So that is pretty much what's attributed to the salt shortage that everybody's looking at right now. I've heard other rumors of certain things happening, but as far as I'm concerned, they're just rumors, but. So I've got 2 loads that were delivered today. I am unsure whether he's gonna keep delivering them, but as far as we look, we're in decent shape. There is some good news because of this, because it definitely made everybody aware that at some point the salt might run out, or the state might decide that it's not environmentally safe to use as much as we are. So I think it's at least encouraging the conversation and moving it towards, all right, well, what are we gonna do to remedy this? For us, we've experimented with lowering our application rates. Right now, we're running 100 to 150 tons or pounds a lane mile less than what we normally do. And for a normal snow situation, it's been working for us. We also excuse me, started experimenting with the automatic feature on the sander control. So we've tapped into the ground speed controller, recalibrated the sander so that whatever speed he's going, the sander is always gonna be putting out
Speeds and feeds.
200,
Yeah.
250 pounds a
Yeah.
lane mile.
That's the way to go.
As he's slowing down, the auger's slowing down. As he stops, it shuts right off.
So we didn't have that in place before. That's huge.
We have it set up on 2 trucks. We have never used it. We've always just done the manual.
Yeah.
So it's up to the driver, as they're slowing down, they're reaching over and
Yep.
cooking and so far, Paul says it's actually makes it easier for him. It's one less thing he's got to worry
Absolutely.
about doing.
Absolutely.
And so we've run it 2 or 3 times so far and seen results just like we have on the manual mode, but actually saving on material.
And that's all geared in. That's all geared in,
Yep.
correct? Yep, that's perfect.
All right, so we've also had some issues with some pipes freezing over on Salto Ball Hill. Happens every year. They're not low enough in the ground and the westward facing ends of the pipe, so the wind blows in them and starts a little ice dam and just builds up to the point where 2 of them were plugged. Water was backed up in the ditch right before we got that rain last week, so we take the backhoe over there and buck the end of the ice out so the pipe could flow again. So the other major issue for us right now, besides the salt shortage, is Johnson Hill Road. Because of the early freeze-thaw cycles that we had in this winter, there's probably 1,000-foot long section of the road right below Canada's Lake Road where it has completely blown the surface right off the road, and clay is actually pumping up every time Every time we
So
get,
it's even big time.
oh yeah, every time we have a thaw, the clay is pumping up to the surface as vehicles drive through it. So that. There's two factors, the clay being a one factor. And it's bottom of the hill, so you can pretty much assume that it's saturated. And the other factor is there's just not enough base in that road for the amount of traffic that's driving on it now. Their strength is not there, so every time the cars drive over it, it pumps that surface and brings that mud up and is blowing the surface apart. I got stakeouts just cleared on Friday last week. We're gonna go over probably tomorrow and install two rough road signs on either side of it, just to make people aware. Not that it's really gonna slow them down or anything, but more of a liability protection on our part. And as soon as the weather allows, we're gonna have to completely box that road out and probably put in 10 to 12 inches of stabilized base and wait until the asphalt plant opens so we can put a surface back on it. So that will more than likely change my 284 for this year.
That was my, yeah. Didn't think it was in this year.
I did include on the back of it, the New York State DOT traffic survey that was completed. So the last 2014 was an actual survey, and then it was a bunch of estimated for years up until 23. It's kind of funny because they estimated the traffic actually going down on that road, and then when they did their actual in 23, it went from 140 vehicles a day to 268.
Then you look at the truck traffic too.
Yeah, and the truck traffic, even though we have that posted at 10 tons, I'm still getting 21 trucks a day driving on that road.
Not good. So, what do we do about these? Is the trucks are certainly accelerating this problem.
Oh, yeah, especially this time of year when you have that frost in the ground and their roads.
So what can we do about that? We posted it, now we just, is this again, is this a sheriff thing again?
Right.
So if I bring it up to Rago or Cicerone? That's the question.
Right. I mean, it was the same thing. I've got Jersey Hill posted and.
Right.
What was it? 2 weeks ago, we had a box truck got stuck on the side of the road because he slid halfway down the road and in the process of talking to the driver, he said, well, if I ever come back out here doing delivery again, I'm not gonna stay off of this road. I'm like, well, you shouldn't be on this road in the first place. You drove right past the posted sign when you turned onto it. Oh, I never saw it, he says.
But I put blinking lights on it, do it in pink.
Yeah.
So, jeez.
And so the last thing,
hand comes out and goes.
yeah. The last thing I have is the county communication issue. I did do a ride along with Jonathan from Finger Lakes Communication last week on Thursday, I believe. So we rode along. I had my radio on, and he had a separate radio on. His was just specifically tuned to the tower over on Warren's Hill. And you could see the issue that we were talking about earlier with the lack of being able to dial in a signal between just bouncing between towers. So that was something that they were aware of earlier in the week because apparently they were out here Friday the week prior and did spend several hours driving around. The other issue is firmware on the radios themselves because they are 12 years old. So the last communication that we had was they were going to come out and update a couple of the radios for me, possibly the fire department, and see if that does anything.
Okay.
Can I, one question? Well, maybe comment. We have a resident, Ryan Cahill, who came in to get a permit to put up a communications tower on his property. And it's an actual fire tower, and he wants to help the town out He wants to figure out a way to put it up. And, I thought maybe we could get the county involved, but he had sent an email to the county and the county was not interested. So I'm curious, maybe you could.
I don't know what. These are,
What's that?
I mean, all these towers are engineered to talk to each other.
Right,
So him putting up a tower. He's not in the engineered plan, so I don't know how it would work. I mean, I'm not an engineer either. I just know that. This tower talks to that tower, talks to this tower.
correct. And they're all on,
If you throw one up in the center, is it gonna screw up the
exactly.
other ones? Cause that's what happened in South Bristol. They put the South Bristol one back online and it screwed up these two up here.
Well, we do have code for putting communication towers in Canada, so they're allowed. But there's restrictions like, it has to be 8,000 feet from another communications tower. Can't be 10,000 feet to an airport.
Yeah, but it's usually a low voltage vendor that proposes the tower.
Right, not a home, resident.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
What's his purpose?
What he's
It's a-
looking for is the rental.
Oh,
Towers have rental fees.
gotcha. Oh, he
Yeah,
wants-
well, he has
He wants somebody to piggyback on his hardware.
Sure.
He also, it's a fire tower, so he wants to purchase it from another.
Hmm.
Town in Pennsylvania, and bring it up here and put it on his
Oh.
property.
Okay.
So he wanted like the town or the county to benefit from it.
Right.
And that was one of the ways that he proposed putting it up.
How big a tower is it?
It's 120 feet tall. He wants to use it for visual effects for fires because of the California fires.
So, okay, so this is a manned tower, not a radio tower.
Correct, but he was looking for ways to get.
He wants to
permitted for
put
it.
the cells up. Yeah, the
Because
different
there's,
cells.
you can
Such
do,
spotty coverage.
you can do wind energy towers in Canada, and you can do communications towers. Those are the only two things that you can have above 35 feet without,
Okay, what's our max on the towers right now on the code?
well, the max for the wind energy is 250 feet with FAA review. And then the max on communications tower is 190 feet or 195 feet with FAA review.
That's in that threshold. How far from our Canadice airport is it?
I don't know, but I know it is.
We have an airport.
It's close to this tower over here, and I'm not sure if that's a communications tower or not.
Yes, it is.
The
Yeah,
county's-
that's the county's
communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, right, so he would be close because he's exactly a mile from here and 8,000 feet is a mile and a half, so
Yeah, that,
he would still be in the,
He's looking for a way to get a permit.
right,
Well,
and I know that name from somewhere. I don't
the
know.
county has to be
he's an
involved.
engineer.
This
for
has to
NICE.
be an engineered,
Yeah, if the county told him no, it's his. Yeah, he wants somebody to help pay for his
Correct,
toy.
correct,
Okay,
I mean, 120-foot fire watch tower.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
The 100-foot tower that they're proposing down in Naples, that's $1 million.
Oh. What was it? Brand new building.
Mhm.
Wow.
That's all I have.
Well, thank you for that good report. I definitely want to keep apprised of Johnson Hill. That's gonna be on my radar.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time, thank you. Okay, next up, Terry.
all right, real quick. In January, the Richmond Highway Department removed enough shale and sediment out of the outlet channel that by January 31st, lake level was at weir level, normal. Basically, almost 11 inches drop, Kate,
Mhm.
in like 3 weeks.
Mhm. We know. Mhm.
And I was talking to Tom Flagg last week. He's got more work to do. He's waiting for it to warm up.
Cool.
I think they asked for requested extension on their emergency permit.
Oh, did they get that? I talked to Daryl today, it didn't come up.
Hmm?
I talked to Daryl today, that didn't even talk about that. So did they get that extension or they
I don't
applied?
know. Ask me Wednesday
Okay,
for a day off. But it isn't gonna change the lake level.
Just to let,
The whole month of February on this chart, that is weir level. So lake's not gonna go down anymore.
right.
Most of the weir is 803.3, which is what it is. And I sent all of you links to the Honeywell Lake Watershed Task Force that Dorothy and I have been working on since late October with the help of a lot of partners. So hopefully you found that of value. And I forgot to include it, so I handed all of you today flyers on the roadside cleanup, which is April 26th, with a free breakfast at the UCC church and free garbage disposal behind the Richmond Town Hall on that day.
Oh, I was hoping you were gonna say garbage plates. I was gonna be there then.
All right, that is my update.
Garbage plates.
Garbage plate, I'll go pick up.
But you
garbage.
gotta bring it an hour before close. That means you gotta be a busy beaver.
Right.
We might possibly be doing that, we're gonna Creek tomorrow. Depending on whether, and if Tom,
Each coordinated with Tom, it's a win.
and if Tom is back, he was off today because he was sick, so.
Yeah, I think he has
They had a,
from the gully that goes by the Richmond Fire Department to the bridge left to,
Right.
that's quite an operation. They take their excavator right into the creek.
Mark's ex.
It's my excavator. I like this project. I like it to go a long time.
And maybe they take Mark's excavator into the creek. I don't know.
well, it's gonna be a nice brisk day, but no precipitation. Very nice. Not until sunset. Thank you. Assessor's report was distributed. Any questions? Anything? SW1,
So water usage is up just slightly this January, 14,000 gallons. Which surprised me because a lot of people I know have their faucets dripping right now. And then other report that was prepared for the board is the water reconciliation. And so one of the calculations that we do at the end of the year is the number of gallons that are pumped and billed to us versus the number of gallons that are rebilled out to the residents. And when I first started with the SW1, I asked Dave Rowley what to expect. And he said 7 to 10% variance is more than acceptable. We're at around 15% right now. Some of it was because of a couple of leaks that don't really amount to a whole lot. And so I said to him, you know, we need to be better about reporting flushed gallons. And then if it continues with that level of variance, I'm gonna ask him what he would do as a next step of investigation.
It's, I mean, 83%, we're only billing 83%.
We're only billing 85%, yeah. So, and you know, that variance, right, is in that 8 cents per thousand. And so I also watched that pretty close.
Yeah, but you requested him for an estimate on the flushing gallons, because you gotta know that.
and he did respond.
For the third quarter, there was 250,000 flush gallons.
He was
Yeah,
pretty
but what
good.
is that in terms of percent?
It wasn't enough to excite me. 2%. Yeah. Less than 2%.
There were a
Yeah.
couple leaks to residents and he usually alerts us pretty quick and
Right, right.
Yeah,
shuts them off.
More than normal this year though, as far as.
The
They
leaks.
weren't leaks, they were breaks, but I don't
Right.
think they would factor into what she's reporting now.
Correct. If they're on the customer side, the customer is billed for those.
Right.
They're on our side, the water district picks it up. We consumed into the district 10 million gallons and billed out like 8.3, 8.2. Good for now.
Thank you. We look real strong that there's not gonna be an abstract 15, so we can close the books. The last few invoices we got an invoice for BNL for work that was done towards the end of the project. We still came in under budget. And then the weed harvest came in late, if you will, but we got that.
And did we just sign that?
You
That
did.
last little one?
You did.
Okay.
And so that was abstract 14, so we probably won't have an abstract 15, books are done. Did give you a little bit of an idea on where we sit. The fourth quarter tax came in, I think I distributed that. Fourth quarter water billings in. And we collect all our taxes, so
The county sales tax report, that 461, is that cumulative? It's gotta be. I was trying to look at that.
the fourth quarter report, that was just the fourth quarter.
Okay,
That was just the fourth quarter.
okay.
So we budgeted conservatively, we came up,
Mhm.
much higher. Again, we still don't know.
Right, what's gonna happen?
We're meeting on the short-term rental potential revenue, which could be a big one. Then that all gets divvied up, that's still statewide.
Yeah, we don't
Charging
know
it,
yet.
how we do it because of the 4 unit,
What would come to the town?
right? And we're a ways away, but it's being worked on, and that'll change a lot of funding for a lot of different places,
True.
including the towns. Pardon me? You asked the question. No, but we're moving in directions, so as far as waste diversion and waste reduction, that ship has sort of sailed. And even on a side note, I just got an email today, in fact, that our organics program is gonna cease at the town because it's not worth it for them. And meanwhile, we're trying to come up with a way to maybe do it at the Richmond transfer station with the town of Richmond. I haven't gotten answers back. This all that's happened in the last 5 or 6 hours.
So that
We-
$81 we're paying is gonna be gone.
What's that?
Where we're composting here is, we're not gonna do that anymore?
Well, I'm gonna propose that we still do, and I'll personally just bring it to Canandaigua if I have to. Cause I can bring it to Canandaigua.
Is that the closest transfer station?
Oh, it's the closest convenient place where I'm at a lot where I'm literally can,
Got it.
and I can also delegate it to somebody else. I can give them the couple bags.
Mhm.
And just, we bought the bags and we can still do it.
Okay,
It's a shame. Yeah, but we gotta start doing this. That's all I can say. I even took some old turkey bones from a soup and they were just glad to have it. The soup carcass was done. Well, that's my report. There's really nothing to approve. So. Moving right along. Got buried paper, paper's gone. Unfinished business, the Jersey Hill update, I kind of reiterated that earlier. We will get more information on the right of ways, and you're certainly welcome to talk to Holly directly. That'd be great.
I'd like to propose on that, but you go back to the engineer, they had one of their, now 6 alternatives or whatever.
Was six places that need remedy.
6 locations on the
Yeah,
road.
yeah, yes.
They had possible resolutions, okay?
Mhm.
One of them was, I think one of them was to move the road, right?
Mhm.
I would ask that we go back and ask them to look at that a little closer.
Okay.
Because they've got all the necessary information at hand. It would be much better than this piece of paper.
Mhm.
For us to evaluate what would be involved in doing it.
Okay. That I can do.
okay, so my question is, would the town attorney have processed any of those easements if we had done easements on that road? Cause like I say, I had an easement in Victor and that had to go through our attorney. Cause it's a legal document and then it gets filed in the county.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I wonder if Sheila would know.
I don't recall any in my time,
Okay,
not for Jersey Hill.
and anywhere along those properties?
Again, not in my time. The only easements I've known that have been filed are for the water district.
Okay,
So I predate Eileen. I have no memory of this since 2002.
okay,
Thank you.
Well, frankly, we don't need to rely upon anybody's memory.
right,
If we get a surveyor, they will look at all of these deeds along the road. Okay? And it'll be right in the deeds, whether there is or isn't
right.
any kind of right of way.
It's not in the deed. An easement is an attachment. It's like an addendum.
Well, it wouldn't be an easement then, it would be a right of way, right? Like, 'cause
No,
there-
it'd be an easement, but it would be in the
It'd be-
property file.
Right.
Back to Holly.
Oh, back to Holly. Okay,
Then it would be in the property description, one way or the other.
yes, it'd be on a property map. Yes, yeah, for sure,
Surveyor would uncover it in the
Yes.
process of doing a survey.
for sure.
But what does the town own on the road
Nothing.
from the center over? They own.
Oh, yeah, just, yeah,
I thought it was 20,
25 feet.
25 feet,
from
right?
the center.
24.9.
So
They
how
may have
wide's-
a right away, it could be one chain, it could be chain and a half, depending on how old it is.
Right,
Yeah, all of our
You know,
roads
I
are,
mean,
there are three rod roads, so.
three rod, okay, you know, sometimes it's chains, rods, whatever.
Okay. I'm closing that unfinished business. It's gonna be unfinished business for another 20 years, but at least it's on board. Once again, the code book updates, we're gonna batch those to just to get some economies of scale, and then we'll submit the general code. After the comp plan's done, and I think the comp plan might take a little longer than we ever thought, then we'll have our major overhaul, and that'll be budgeted for 26, and that's when we'll go to the code book 360, so that people can get it online. That's down the road. So this process that we're working on right now, and then eventually any updates plus the comp plan could have some impact on our code
So
book.
what's the expected timeline for this group? Submitted
2-3 months, I'm thinking, just to be
the
safe.
ones that we've already completed, they're
Yeah,
ready to go, right?
yeah. Yep. Just,
Why 3 months?
I don't know how long it takes them. I've never actually done it, so I don't know, once we submit everything
That's
to
what I'm
them.
asking, what's the submission date, what's the approximate date we submit them? I know it'll take them a while of the process.
We still want to make sure we've got all our ducks in a row, because we got 3 to 6 of them.
mhm. I think we ended up with 5 of them.
Okay, oh, right, because the local, yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just a matter of just getting those submitted.
Thank you.
Thank you. One thing that did finally happen is we got the coverage lines, and you didn't initial this, but basically I've signed the agreement. Just want concurrence, can you just pass this to Rick? That everybody's on board with the fire district lines getting redone. I don't think we need to vote on it, but if you're all in favor of it, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, we
Yes.
got an agreement. So that finally got done, and I'm grateful for that.
That's changing the coverage areas.
Yes, they said for years. Yep, since 2021.
Trading lanes.
Yep, and everybody's happy. They signed it. I said some young people. Okay, updated procurement policy. I'll move that resolution.
Second,
Those in favor? Aye. We had one update on the CEO building department fee schedule, just raising from 70 to 75, but we need a resolution to do that. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mark second. Those in favor? Aye.
so I had one question, because I see that you're bumping the stop work order release.
Yes,
Okay,
that's the only one, and our reasoning behind it was the amount of time involved with, processing that.
okay. Building without a permit is now like the cheapest way to go. it's $75 if I'm building without a permit.
right? As far as the town goes.
Would you consider that for an increase? I was looking at some of the other towns. And these days, I'm thinking $75 is more of a nuisance fee.
And, well, the 1203, which we were supposed to, we adopted in 21, says that I can issue tickets for that immediately, and you can be fined for up to $1,000 per day.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I think that's where
You
you're
just
going with
answered
that,
my
right?
question.
This is start, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because and a lot of people do the, you know, I send out violations a lot,
right.
and that's one of the ones that the judge can do immediately up to.
Loving it. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Approval of the bills.
Motion.
Mark makes a motion.
I'll second. I do have a question for Eileen. Or no, actually for Joe. Are we still using the handheld? We just did maintenance on it.
Yes,
Okay,
for the water authority.
yeah,
Yes.
okay.
You
Thank
talking
you.
about the belt clip?
No, the handheld. There's two pieces of equipment that we did extended maintenance on.
I guess I don't know what you mean by the belt clip then,
Well, you mean the handheld?
or the handheld.
I
I
thought you were
check-
talking about the belt.
Okay,
That the handheld was what
so
the
the
water authority used to do the readings, correct? Is that what you're talking about?
used to
Yellow?
do, right? Yeah,
Yeah, we used to. Now it's all done with iPads.
that's what I
We
thought.
we didn't do any maintenance on that. It's just sitting here. I asked before and they said it's ours. So I don't know. It's just sitting here, but they didn't do any maintenance on it.
There's a maintenance agreement. I'll tip the invoice so that somebody looks at it, cause it's. The two pieces together are $800.
I think it's a digital firmware update.
Are you talking about the Nomad? That yellow thing I've got on my counter that's not in
Yeah.
use anymore? It's not in
Yeah.
use. It's not in use.
Okay, okay, I will grab the invoice and bring it to your attention.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know what
Automatically.
they're maintaining it with.
Out of my glasses.
So
All right.
it'll be easy for me to find it.
Okay.
Well, we have a motion and a second for
Yeah,
approval of the bills.
yes.
Those in favor?
I,
Okay, that carries. Privilege of the floor, there is a new Richmond Recreation Director. Her name is Terry Downs. I did give you an update. So again, Terry Downs, new Richmond Recreation Director. And in breaking news, there will be film crews at Honeyway Lake, Lakefront Bargain Hunt. It's an HGTV type. The network is called Magnolia. They're gonna be filming, if weather holds, March 1st to the 3rd. And they're gonna have drones,
seriously,
seriously. They're gonna be, and I just basically gave you that information. No,
over your houses, it says,
they think
over
that's
the
hot.
private residences.
there's some very wealthy people that live along the lake, apparently. I don't know. I don't really, I'm not even, I'm very really, I was just invited
Is
to
this
dinner.
like that house hunter thing?
It's coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's big. So assessments are gonna go up. We're probably gonna have to do a revale after this show.
Hey,
And,
Sorry. They go and they look at 3 different properties
right.
and then they end up buying one.
I've watched
and then
that.
doing a rehab on it.
And they do
so,
a rehab. on it.
I mean, but look at this. He's gonna have, oh, maybe, definitely 2 minivans, maybe 8 people, maybe 7.
Good lord.
And the house hunters, that's a couple that's coming here that wants to live. So again, hopefully they buy in Canada's. So Daryl's involved with this. So they did reach out to CEOs in both departments and so it came through the Finger Lakes Visitors Connection.
Mhm.
I'm serious. This is a big deal. Because CBS was just at Hollerhorn the other day.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah,
was-
that was.
I saw
excellent.
that. I
was
saw
Sunday
that.
morning.
Yeah.
That
So
was
these are all,
Watch it twice, man.
you know,
Yes,
and the tour, this relates to tourism. The economic engine that is tourism is millions of dollars to this county.
oh, yeah,
And everything we can do to support it, it's huge. So, it's a win-win situation.
keep the
Does-
lake at
does
the right
Richmond
level.
require a permit for
What?
filming?
They do not,
They do not.
and I don't believe we
Do
do.
we?
Well, this is the thing where they build, remodel the house in 3 days or less.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They're gonna have to hire me to stand on site if they don't have it.
We had to hire you to go back and issue the permit 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And give you a cup of coffee.
Right.
But it sounds like fun and I'll be certainly
Oh my God.
checking it out.
Do that garage.
Oh, so they've actually rented, they're using the facility at Sandy Beach as base operations. Sandy Beach, Sandy Bottom rather, will be base of operations.
I wonder where they're staying.
By that garage we were talking about earlier.
That's what I just said. That's what I said. That's what I said. We should
Oh, jeez.
get the Smith place up.
So again, we'll be reporting on this next month, so I thought I'd give you that information. Then another one, this is cybersecurity. You might want to jump in on this Zoom. It's this Wednesday at 2:00 if you can. And if not, it's always available on YouTube. Well, this is also involving state funding and so forth, so. I don't know how many calls you're getting. I'm getting crazy.
Awful.
No, I'm getting texts, hey, is this Christopher from Ontario County, and just crazy stuff that's coming on my cell, and it's just awful. And all it takes is one click.
All day.
It's amazing.
Mhm.
It's amazing. So, stay vigilant. That's all I've got. Any other privilege of the floor?
Yes.
Yes.
So
you.
March 5th, there will be a
Oh, yes.
public forum here that James Jeffrey, he's the park manager for Stony Brook, and he's also in charge of the park up here in Canadice, and they're using the large meeting room. I believe Jeremy may get an invite. I know the highway superintendent, they had one of these quite a few years ago, and they bring in all different kinds of organizations are invited. So the date that they're holding it is March 5th, and their backup date is the next day, but they're going to set up around 5:30 and they'll be here until approximately 8.
What is it? For what?
It's just a
Uh,
public meeting. It's not our deal, it's their deal. And they meet with like snowmobilers, skiers, all kinds of group. I don't know who they're inviting, but I know they had quite a list the last time they held one of
So-
these.
Harriet Hollister State Park is managed by Stony Brook.
Mhm.
That's where all the management is and the infrastructure for all those activities. So anything that happens at our state park is decided on and managed through Stony Brook. So it's delighted, and we have a gem right here, and it's only gonna get better. I see it.
And they just wanted a space to hold their meeting, so.
What's that?
Don't tell people.
No,
Nice.
it's on the map with high level competition athletes, recreation people, and people from all over. You look at the license plate in that parking lot. It's
We took up the last bit was Section 5 cross-country ski finals.
Yeah.
There on Saturday.
yeah, we had so much snow. It was great.
They had some sort of high school.
Yep,
race up there.
Yep. And when we have the snow, we do it up there because it saves Bristol, and it's a great.
About 100 cars on the road.
Really that bad.
Oh,
Wow. I learned my lesson the first time I saw that. I don't go anywhere near there.
Well, in sectionals, and they want to do sectionals. They'd like to do sectionals. That's just a race. And to do sectionals.
Called down to James Jeffrey and had a little conversation with him the first time I came across that. Was, yeah, you need some people up here flagging traffic because you got, that was bad. Everybody's heading south, and there's nowhere to turn around but to pull into the parking lot. So now you've got people parked along one side of the road, people heading south. And people coming back out of the parking lot to get in line and park so you got 3 lanes of traffic on a 2-lane road.
Do you want to, who to reach out to Section 5 administration?
I complained right to the park guy. I don't know, because they probably haven't done anything about it, but they need traffic control there. It was horrible.
Yeah, well, Section 5, because typically, there's a lot of volunteer parents and things like that, because at Bristol, we had, it's a one-way, it's a dead end, it's the same kind of thing, and how do you get school buses in and out? And it's way easier for school buses to get around at Harriet Hollister than it is at Bristol, just so you know. It's way tighter. And it's the same crew of people. And even when we hold states and then. So I would maybe try to get section 5 votes too, because might get faster results that way. Especially if they're gonna do another race really quick.
Or you could come to that meeting that night and talk about it again.
I probably, well, we'll see,
I'll,
I might show up.
I'll be there. Yeah, if somebody just writes that down, we can certainly bring that up because that's something I was not aware of. That was an issue.
If somebody writes it down, what are you doing? I don't see a pen in your hand.
That's right, I'm not. I'm asking for help. I'm trying to run a meeting. When you run a meeting, you're not writing stuff down because it's hard to pay attention to what's going on. I got
Alright.
stuff right.
You signed the approval for this. You ought to know when it is.
Alright, are we ready to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
I'm gonna second.
Those in favor? Thank you.
Question.